But first tonight, in the 1970s, Bangor was a city being reshaped by dramatic change. Buildings that had stood downtown for decades were being torn down as part of a misguided effort to revitalize the city.
There was also social change in the air, and it's all captured in a new book called Downtown Upriver, Bangor in the 1970s. Emily Burnham, a reporter for the Bangor Daily News, wrote the book and selected the dozens of photographs in it, most of which came from the newspaper's archives. By looking at Bangor as it used to be, you will likely see it in a new way.
As soon as you open Downtown Upriver, it's like cranking up a time machine. Take this photo of a gas station on State Street. It immediately transports you to a bygone era.
One of the things that makes the book work is that it's not that far back to the 1970s, and yet when you look at the pictures, it's a different vibe. It's a different place and era.
One of the really cool things about looking at more recent history is that it is so different, and yet there are certain things about it that are so the same. I've always thought that history is something that doesn't exist just 100 years ago or 150 years ago. It's something that's happening right around us as we speak.
The photos tell the story. A city that's instantly recognizable to people who know Bangor, and also a city that's changed and gone forever.
The signs are different, the fashion's different, the cars are different. And I love that juxtaposition of the more things change, the more they stay the same. And the more they stay the same, the more they actually change.
One of the things that tells you as soon as you start to flip through the pages of the book that things were different back then is the hairdos.
Yeah, the hairdos and the clothes. And in just the span of a year or two, you'll see fashions change.
On a more serious note, the book shows how Bangor changed dramatically in the 1960s and 70s, the result of what was then known as urban renewal.
The idea was that you've got all these old-fashioned buildings that are rickety and they're fire hazards and they're not safe for people and they're old and they're inefficient. Let's tear them down and build something cool and modern and interesting and more efficient on top of them. But it's a bit of an unfunded mandate, essentially, because that didn't end up happening. And, you still see the scars of that when you walk around even today. You'll see large swaths of the downtown that don't have any buildings in them, and that's from that era specifically.
Another big story, and it's one that has played out in hundreds of cities around the country, is that a mall opened up and all the stores that had brought so much vitality to downtown couldn't survive, and the shoppers went to the mall, and the downtowns really suffered.
Yeah, I think you see that easily in, that span of just the last few years of the 70s. I mean, Sears was downtown, Sleepers was downtown, all those buildings were, all those businesses were downtown, and they either moved out of the mall or closed altogether because people just weren't coming downtown anymore. It was so much more convenient to go to the mall.
A book that came out in 2021 helped inspire Emily Burnham to write this volume. That other book is Take It Easy, a collection of pictures taken in Portland in the 1970s by street photographer John Duncan. Like Downtown Upriver, Take It Easy doesn't pretend to be a comprehensive visual history, but it captures a time and a place, a moment in the history of a city.
When you were digging through the archives to do your research, would you just get lost in those photos and say, oh my goodness, I've just spent 2.5 hours looking at photos from the 70s?
Oh my God. I mean, I still do. This is not going to stop for me. We've got literally 250,000 negatives from the 1940s onward. So whether it's the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, whatever it might be, I'm getting lost in it all the time.
Did you think much about how 50 years from now, people are going to look back at the photos from the 2020s, and they're going to laugh at our hair, they're going to laugh at our clothes, they're going to get a kick out of what the street scenes look like. It's going to be just as different to them as it is to us to look back at the 70s.
I think, as it should be. At the end of the day, we're all the same. Maybe our hairstyles are a little different, but at the end of the day, people are people.
So that means 30 years from now, Sam, when you are anchoring the 207 50th anniversary show, you'll look back at the video from now and you'll just laugh at our hair and our clothes.
Oh my God, no, you will be timeless though, because let's be real, Rob Caldwell is always timeless. If she does any more books like this, I want to help her because this is so cool. It truly transports you back in time.
Well, Emily loves doing this stuff. She does a lot of this kind of writing and digging through the archives in her everyday job as a reporter for the Bangor Daily News, looks at a lot of local history. And yeah, she's hooked. She's totally into it. And I think she said she's pretty sure that every photo that you just saw in our story came from the Bangor Daily News archives. Cool. That she found. She did tap into some other sources as well. But, you know, as she said, 250,000 photos there from over the decades. And they just, they touch us.
They do. And she made a good point too, that like, we're all a part of history every single day. So keep taking those selfies, right? Yeah. We need them.
Again, the name of the book, Downtown Upriver. It's from Island Port Press. You can buy it in all the usual places where you get your books.